one I'm glad to see again. Look at your body, my, have you grown up? She said, I seen you at your shows, my, have you blown up? I said, nah, still got a long way to go. But I heard you gotten your degree, way to go. She said thanks, her work as a biochemist. Well, can you rekindle our chemistry because I miss it? She living in Hawaii, I should go and visit. And I will, cause we got tremendous unfinished business. We used to stay up late nights and talk a lot. She ain't a smoker, but with me she used to spark a lot. Morals and values, yeah, she was taught a lot. But that never stopped her from making love in the parking lot. When she left, my told me to let it burn. Stop loving her, boy, there's something that you better learn. So there were others after her, I had to live and learn. But in my storybook, she was the page that I could never turn. I asked why she had to up and leave. I told her she abandoned me, she said she disagreed. She had to go find herself, but kept my picture in her wallet to remind herself of all the times that we shared and how it felt. And to remember that I never leave her by herself. Never lonely, my only one and only. More than just a homie, I own her, she own me. And we have yet to kick the best off. I'm kinda hoping we can pick up where we left off. And even though I can't bring back the used to be, I hope it's you and me in the future.
Love being with you, you're my girl, you're my girl. Wanna be with you in your world, in your world. My love girl, in my world, in my world. My love girl, in my world, in my world. Love being with you, you're my girl, you're my girl. Wanna be with you in your world, in your world. My love girl, in my world, in my world. My love girl, in my world, in my world.
Baby girl, it's my ride or die. Even though we get in arguments from time to time, I don't mind spending cash just to wine and dine. Even take you to the car lot for Valentine's. Honestly, I think it's all well deserved. You preserved us despite me getting on your nerves. And all the months spent stressing over me and other girls, hoping I would learn my lesson. I finally did. I got a chance to sit and reminisce. And what I found is my past had me scared to commit. As a kid, I was unstable and never had someone show me how to be faithful. But now I'm able. When I look into your eyes, I see the pain. And I don't wanna have a daughter going through the same. Simple and plain. I know your heart will probably never be the same, but as I try to make a change, I just hope you'll remain my love.
Love being with you, you're my girl, you're my girl. Wanna be with you in your world, in your world. My love girl, in my world, in my world. My love girl, in my world, in my world. Love being with you, you're my girl, you're my girl. Wanna be with you in your world, in your world. My love girl, in my world, in my world. My love girl, in my world, in my world.
That was Love Pearl, performed by MAV. We will hear more from them in the show over in the bank room later. Right now, you are listening to Your Prosperity Insights with Joe Midas Mind Miller. We have a special show tonight, one Andre Ramirez, the CEO of ExtremeSportsPicks.com, which is one of the most successful handicapping sites on the internet. Andre is a businessman, that's right, and of course he knows the gambling industry, who combines his street knowledge and college pedigree to be a leader in his industry. Welcome, Andre.
Yeah, thank you for having me on the show today.
You are most welcome, and thanks for being with us on the show tonight. And right now, it is time for this week's Prosperity Insights. Joe, take it away.
Thank you, Quiet Storm. This week's Prosperity Insight, Unplanned Occurrences. Things will not always go the way you plan, but you don't have to let that stop you. Remind yourself that you can adapt, adjust, and continue doing what's important to you. Often the interruption itself is not what throws you off track. Your anger, and disappointment may end up disrupting you longer than whatever interrupted you in the first place. Go ahead and accept the fact that interruptions will come along and plans will have to be altered. Then just make the adjustments and get on with life. Some of those unplanned occurrences might actually turn out to contain some pleasant surprises. Make the choice to live life with value right where you find it. Instead of seeing the interruption as an excuse, see it as an opportunity. Let it strengthen your resolve and provide you with a reason to focus even more intently on making the progress you have chosen to make. Life is filled with unplanned interruptions, and getting upset about them won't do you a bit of good. Instead, let them come, let them go, and enjoy the richness of a positive, purposeful life no matter what. This week, instead of sharing a specific action, let's step back and distinguish an action from a concept, idea, or opinion. I'm asking you, the listeners, to send me what distinguishes a specific action from something else. I'll use your responses as coaching to tailor my future responses and having them be powerful and exceed all expectations. Before we continue, let's see what insight our guest Andre can share about the mental attitude required to successfully handle unplanned circumstances, especially as it relates to business. Andre?
Well, first of all, you got to have an open mind, and when you're look at different opportunities. And my main thing is always know that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And in business in general, to be successful, you have to have a game plan, and you have to have the right attitude, and being organized. And what it does help is financial, but the main thing is the drive, and it's how much are you willing to put into what you want to do in life. You can't come in putting just 70%. Most successful people come in putting 110%, and that is the secret. If you have the heart, the determination, you can do anything in life. And that you can do it without a college education. You just gotta have that determined, the fire. And if someone tells you that you can do it, prove them wrong, that you can do it.
Wow, I love it. Let's see what the listeners are talking about in the Conscious Cashback Reward segment. Quiet Storm, what's the word?
Well, we love all your comments and sharing, which is our Conscious Cashback Reward from you, our listeners. Now, tonight's Conscious Cashback Reward is from Kevin Whitmore of Toronto, who writes, "All I can say is ba-da-da. The music from iKnobi was great. I wish the terrestrial stations would feature more independent artists like her. Quiet Storm, I appreciate the coaching you offer each week, and it's a definite example for a specific action or task to undertake. I'm a professional financial coach, and my biggest challenge is getting clients to create goals that are specific and measurable. I'm looking forward to the feedback from other listeners. By the way, the Midas Mind knows that, yes, I am using all of his material, and my clients and my business income has increased by $210,000. I don't know how long he'll be giving away all this stuff for free, Let me know when he publishes his book. Quiet Storm, do you have any coaching for working with your immediate family on business projects? I need help. Well, I do want to, of course, thank you, Kevin. Thank you profusely for your conscious cashback reward. We definitely appreciate your words. And Kevin, thanks for sharing. And Midas Mind, he might actually be sending you a bill later, so you better watch out. Well,
it's coming.
To get down to it, my coaching for you is to only work with those family members who've already demonstrated they have the business savvy needed to get the project done. Otherwise, it may be best to work with people not in your family. The desire to work with family is admirable, but not always practical. Andre, is there any coaching that you might want to go ahead and give Kevin about working with family?
I can say I learned a lot from my father being an entrepreneur, being a successful barber for over 50 years and building a clientele. He's got the winning attitude, and he was able to, provide for us as a family. And he's one of my biggest inspirations is looking the way on how he did it. And started out with absolutely nothing. It's one of those kind of American dream stories. But surround yourself with positive people who have been successful and that do share the same interests as you. And if you have family members like that, it's good to get input, but don't make it as your final decision. You're the individual. It's your business, and you need to figure out your own game plan on how you can be successful. But the key thing is you need to find your niche. And if you got something unique, turn the flame on, and you can generate a lot of money out of it. That's my advice to you.
All right. Well, Andre says turn that flame on, if not up. And Joe, what did you find empowering about Kevin's conscious cashback reward?
Quiet Storm, the power, and what Kevin had to say is in his love. He is asking the question, why should I continue to work with family? And he didn't say it that bluntly, but Kevin, I've done this before too, and your heart is so invested in your family and what you could achieve as a group and how the family would be uplifted. Unfortunately, sometimes familiarity breeds contempt. And you've got to make sure that when you're laying your heart on the line, that you value your heart and that you make everyone else value your heart. If you don't, you can waste a lot of time with family. I'm not saying don't work with family. I'm just saying be conscious that your heart and your effort can be taken for granted by somebody who is too close to you. That's very powerful because you have great value.
Well said. Please join us in the bank room for another performance from MAV Official. Stay tuned.
Lord, I confess I've made mistakes. I have accumulated too much credit card debt, and now I cannot imagine overcoming it without your help. I beg of you to intercede on my behalf. Provide me with the financial means to be able to breathe again. Please forgive my sins, Lord. Walk with me. Help me to make the right decisions throughout my life. I'm Karen, the debt destroyer. I work with people like you, good people, who need a way to eliminate their credit card debt and get back on the path to prosperity. My team of experts will work hard to help you eliminate your credit card debt and get you and your credit back on track. No bankruptcy, no loan, your credit card debt eliminated. Have your credit card debt destroyed? Contact me at yourdebtdestroyed.com or call 1-888-431-2829.
Welcome back. You are listening to Your Prosperity Insights, where we focus on the practical, the pragmatic, spiritual, and conscious aspects of growing prosperity. And we do it with power and love. Quiet Storm, what's going on in the bank room?
Well, we are in the bank room where we feature a track from a new artist and vote if it's going to get a couple of snaps to the upside or straight kicked out of the vault altogether. Tonight, we have MAV out of Decatur, Georgia, with their album IDEP, or IDEBP. Wow. Well, you know, I'm really anxious to get to their track here. It's called Upside Down, and let's hear it.
With all the stress that I'm dealing with right now, give me one reason why I should turn the whole world upside down, upside down, upside down, upside down, upside down. Trying to pick the lock to the cages, cause the key costs more than my year's wages. I can really say I hate this world where a pistol is the only thing stainless. If what you put out is what you're giving, then how can karma be a superstition? I go to church in the past, there's cash driven. I guess a pair of jeans is the only true religion. And if so, then Benjamin is the true God. Currency conversion, it's time to spend a new guy. I just steer clear of the hoopla. Put the weed in the blunt, then woosah. My slogans, no drama. Counting up my change on the bank's Obama. My hunger and my thirst for wisdom is no problem. I eat the fruit of knowledge, wash it down with oil. With all the stress that I'm dealing with right now, give me one reason why I should turn the whole world upside down, upside down, upside down, upside down. With all the pain that I'm dealing with right now, give me one reason why I should turn the whole world upside down, upside down, upside down, upside down, upside down. At work, punching clocks like I hate time. Wish I could kill taxes for trying to take mine. But every 2 weeks they succeed. My paycheck pleads for the greater good of greed. If money grew on trees, I'll be in the yard playing quarters like seeds. Sniper on the roof and he taking out thieves. Nice guys finish last, fuck good deeds. Pessimists trying to kill my creed. Had to step back, realign my G. Being the real man is what I stand for, but it's like you're trying to kill my breed. What is there left to do? I'm already on the bottom. What is there left to lose? Make it to the top, the only thing left to prove. And to do that, I had to neglect. With all the stress that I'm dealing with right now, give me one reason why I shouldn't turn the whole world upside down, upside down, upside down, upside down. With all the pain that I'm dealing with right now, give me one reason why I shouldn't turn the whole world upside down, upside down, upside down, upside down. Watch upside down, man. He on the roof right now, finger on the trigger, he ready to shoot right now. And his clips off banana field, so if you slippin', he gonna let that banana peel. It's an atrocity. Prostitution, homicide, armed robberies, and drug sales in my hood is a commodity that consume kids fast. Olympic sprinters, result is you 18 serving a life sentence. Against us is where them odds stack up. That mean the wall against your spine and you can't back up. And when the bills stack up, they call to collect the payment. So now you silence your phone every time that it's ringing. And even though I know that the Lord's grace is amazing, my situation took me to be an agent of Satan. The checker flag finish line so close I can taste it. But every step I'm taking, it seems I'm constantly racing. And every move I'm making, this niggas constantly hating. I tell them kiss my ass and send them on a hiatus. We headed where the grave is, living before we die. I'm blind walking through the apocalypse like Eli, struggling just to find my predetermined purpose. Reading between the lines, translating the cursive. The world is full of persons who put curses upon you. So it's only right, this is what I want. With all the stress that I'm dealing with right now, give me one reason why I shouldn't turn the whole world upside down. Upside down, upside down, upside down. With all the pain that I'm dealing with right now, give me one reason why I shouldn't turn the whole world upside down. Upside down, upside down, upside down. With all the stress that I'm dealing with right now, give me one reason why I shouldn't turn the whole world upside down. Upside down, upside down, upside down. With all the pain that I'm dealing with right now, give me one reason why I shouldn't turn the whole world upside down. Upside down, upside down, upside down, upside down.
Upside down. Okay, well, we're going right to Andre. Andre is upside down, getting a couple of snaps from you, or just shown out of the vault altogether.
Man, I was feeling that one. I was going to ask these guys, maybe they can send a letter back. Maybe they can write my intro song, a new video for my sports betting, because I like it.
All right.
I'm not upside down.
Got it. All right. Well, of course, I'm anxious to find out what my friend Midas Mind thinks of this one.
Quiet Storm, when I heard the intro to the show, I thought, this is a group I'm going to like. And then after Upside Down, I got to say, I'm giving them snaps all around. I love it. I like this.
Excellent. I've got to get on some snaps, because I love the content, what they're saying. And just like Andre said, it sounds like we all were feeling upside down. Well, Joe, are we looking at a couple of snaps, or am I calling security? Well, you just told us that what you thought. And, of course, audience members, if you liked what you heard from MAV, of course, you can check them out at mavofficial.com. Now, we are going straight to take a few minutes to learn a little bit more about our guest, Andre Ramirez, the CEO of ExtremeSportsPicks.com and co-host of Bras, Panties, and Sports. Well, Andre, there is gambling, and then there is the business of gambling. What is the key difference, really, and how did you get started in all this?
Well, first of all, gambling is being a risk taker. And the business of gambling is being able to be successful in advising the gamblers with winning, sports information, which is going to, make them money. And in order to do that, we use, sports knowledge from information from injuries to it can be a guy tweeting something bad on Twitter or death in the family, and we use that part of a system called algorithm. And algorithms is a theory that I use. It's my own calculations to figure out the outcome of a game. And this is where we maximize profit. And, a lot of people who do gamble don't do that. They bet on their heart or they have an addiction. But what we do is that we build a money system where at the end of the year, you got something to bankroll off of. And I started betting back in college. and in early 2000, I got heavy into sports betting. And I was very successful. I've been very successful at it, making money every year, in college football and the NFL and hockey. And I decided to say, I have this gift in winners and, maximizing my returns. And you know what? How many people out there do you know who gamble for a living? It's one of the few. It's not guaranteed income according to most people. But just like a stockbroker or a doctor, it's a profession. It's my profession. And I apply to make money.
Let me say this. You are running a great business. So now completely from the business side, as a business owner, what's the biggest challenge you face on a daily basis? And what do you do to meet that challenge?
I think the biggest challenge, because I have set records for sportscapping.com, is beating my records. Because I have set the standard so high. Every day is a new day. And with my team, you come in with the right attitude. And my thing is, you know what? I'm going to hit this game. And that's the difference. And that's I set goals every day for myself and into how much I can win. But of course, you're going to have, games that you do lose on. But the losses, you really got to look into how you created that loss and how it happened. And you learn from your mistakes. And
so do you have to adjust your algorithm when you lose, or do you keep it the same?
The algorithms change because the outcomes of the game. Because if a game has 34-16, then those numbers are inputted into algorithms. So you use different combinations. And when I do an algorithm, I have 10 possible scores of a game. And what I do is then I match it up through, once I have the outcomes of the game, I match up the spread of what the odds makers are giving and the complete total of the game. And when I find a mismatch, I try to get my algorithms down to about a 70% shot at hitting. And that's how I've been so successful in betting.
All right. Well, Andre, if you could, please share 2 pitfalls that you've seen entrepreneurs fall into when it comes to growing their prosperity consistently.
And an entrepreneur has to have, like we were talking about earlier, is the motivation and the drive. And the key thing I do remember in college was that they told us, if you want to be a successful entrepreneur, you have to find your niche. And the field of sports betting and sports gambling, it's huge. And it's the second largest money-making business in the world. So, but what I did different, instead of just people just hearing bad things about people just throwing their money away, how can I go and take advantage and make that money and beating the sports books? And that's why I developed my algorithm theory and along with my other tools to get the better odds of beating the sports books. Because my thing is this, the people who do set the lines are not really doctors with PhDs. They're just a couple guys who can read numbers and are pretty much almost guessing. So if I can think of the outcome and figure it out, then you can actually beat the guy who's actually setting these numbers out. It doesn't take rocket science. It takes discipline. And for the average person, that has that drive to say, when you pitfalls, it is basically one of the biggest pitfalls is emotion. And that's one thing what makes me great is that I don't bet on emotion. I bet according to numbers. And just like the business, in the business field, a lot of people let their emotions get involved. And you have to set your emotions aside and in business and concentrate on your numbers. And that's how you do it.
Let me ask then. Extreme sports picks have taken off. What do you see for the future of the company, and how can our listeners learn more about you and perhaps even get a scoop or two on some upcoming games?
Well, I could talk about Extreme, what we did different, how I got my debut. I had a really good betting record coming out of the islands, and I talked to one of the biggest legendary cappers. He happened to take my phone call. His name is Joe D'Amico, and he's one of the greatest. And I told him about my betting records and what I did, and I told him I have this business, and this is what I'm doing, and I want to make the next step. I want to go full pro. And he told me, Andre, you need at least 7 years before you can go full pro. And I told him, but I'm really, really good in what I do. So he actually vouched for me with one of the head bosses with sports capping, and I got signed on with sports capping. And as my record started blowing up, I got opportunities with coming on with ref picks with Tim Donaghy, the former referee of the NBA.
Well, wait a minute, Andre. Wait a minute. You're telling me that you had an unplanned occurrence. He told you needed 7 years, and you fought through that and said, no, I'm ready now, and he supported that?
Yes, I told him, you have to believe in me. And he goes, Andre, if you fail, he goes, it's on you, and it's going to come back on you because I don't want you burning my name in this business. And I said, hey, you know what? Pull your faith in me 110%. I am that good, and these are my numbers. And he goes, I'm going to believe in you, Andre. So he gave me that opportunity, and my business exploded when I came on with Sports Cap because I got the credibility on getting to compete with other handicappers who had been in the business for 30 years. And coming out of my rookie year, I blew the record out, hitting 70% on my totals, where the average for second place was near a high 50s. So I made it happen, and the door started opening up. I started getting the respect in the business, and we're just exploding. We got a lot of new clients coming on board. Everybody wants to know, and I made my packages affordable for the small sports bettor can come in and make money as well. NFL's here. We're at 65% overall in our career, and it's about making money. And you buy one of our packages, and you take it long term, and you'll be very successful as well.
Very nice.
Wow. Well, it is time for this week's exercise for building a prosperity consciousness. Over to the Midas Mind.
This week's exercise for building and maintaining your financial well-being is unplanned occurrences. Last week, we worked on looking at our current state of affairs and unconcealing opportunities that were right under our noses. What I discovered for myself was I was focusing on giant deals. We all want to conquer the world tomorrow. We're megalomaniacs by nature. What I found out was there was $6,000 or $7,000 laying around on the ground that I needed to pick up. And I needed to stop paying so much attention to the giant deal that was going to change the world. I needed to take the low-hanging fruit. I mentioned the subject of unplanned occurrences to a few people, and immediately came to mind for a lot of folks was getting pregnant. You know what you're doing Do you know what can happen? You either plan for it by managing some form of birth control or you don't. And the default plan is to let the chips fall where they may fall. We are not talking about poker chips here. This is the perfect time to start planning for the upcoming year and including actions in your plan for unplanned circumstances. You may ask, how can you plan for something unplanned? It's actually simple, and here's an example. I plan to spend $1,200 for heat and cooling expenses next year, but I'm putting away $1,800 for unplanned occurrences. This week, we want everyone to start the process of creating their prosperity plan for 2015 by simply listing your financial, health, and passion projects. We're going to give you a few details each week to help you craft the perfect plan. Share this exercise with others and ask them to take on the assignment. And remember, people don't plan to fail. They fail to plan. I hope you've enjoyed this week's Prosperity Insights and use the exercise to stay on the path as you build and maintain your financial well-being. Thanks for listening.
Well, we want to thank Andre for being on the show today and sharing your prosperity insights. And Andre, how can our listeners contact you to get the hottest picks?
Well, you can contact me through extremesportspicks.com, extreme with an E, or call me on my 1-800 number at 1-800-210-2909. And for tonight, I do have my 4-carat high roller game, which is for my executive clients, absolutely free for our listeners. This Sunday, we are taking the Saints minus the 3.5 points. According to my algorithms, I have the Saints winning between 10 and 13 points. Lay the money on the Saints and get paid.
Good deal.
All right. And that is this coming Sunday. That is November 9th?
Yes, against the, it'll be in 2 days, actually, on November 9th against the 49ers.
All right. Well, you heard it, folks. You have been listening to Prosperity Insights with Joe Midas Mind Miller. Visit us on the web at yourprosperityinsights.com. Next week, we will see you.